Hello, viewers. We got a very special request today here. One of my readers sent me a nice email here requesting that I review their Instagram because they just read my book about Instagram called DM for Dates, which teaches you exactly how to set up your Instagram and use it to attract women and how to talk to women on Instagram, how to make yourself look like a movie star or whatever, somebody who has value. And we'll get into the email here and everything. But if you have any questions about anything at all, any way that in which you think I can help you out, make your life better, questions about how the world works, or just how you can live a better life, you can always go to reinventideal.com and just click where it says video request and see how I can help you there. So let's get into our client's question right here. And this is very impressive, what I saw here. I mean, let's start with his email. It says, I recently read your Instagram book. Well, thank you very much for buying that. And found it really fascinating. Oh, well, thank you very much for saying so. So now I just booked your video feedback. I've already adjusted my profile based on your principles, and I'd love your feedback. Could you take a look at my profile, which gives me the handle I'm withholding. And this is another thing here. Whenever you make a request here to me, I will keep you as anonymous as possible. I mean, I'll keep you 100% anonymous, but like any sensitive information that you put in these emails, I will be sure to leave out so that nobody is able to identify you. They asked, can I look at his profile and tell him what I should still improve, or if it already looks solid? All right, we'll get into that. And then he adds on here, a bit of context. I used to have crazy success on Instagram back when I first started my career and had almost no money. Funny how that usually works out. He says he literally turns every meeting into a close, or he used to turn every meeting into a close. Yeah, that's usually how it works out right there. It's like, work so hard to become successful and have money, but then you look back at your life and you're like, oh man, the times when I didn't have money was when I had tons of success with women, and it felt a lot easier back then, or it seems that way just because of like the rose-colored glasses that you have when you look back. As I tell you, there have been times in my life where didn't even have 2 dimes to rub together. I was sleeping in the storage unit. There were times I was sleeping in my laundromat. And still, it seemed like I had success back then that at least felt easier. Or felt easier just because I wasn't thinking about it too much. So that's a common thing there, friend. When you say, well, it seems like I had more success back when I wasn't a successful person. Don't worry too much about that. I mean, it's kind of like a focusing illusion that your mind's playing tricks on you with that. And a lot of guys can tell you, yeah, I had more success when I wasn't rich, or when I wasn't fit, when I wasn't jacked, when I wasn't a high-status person. That's normal for us to kind of get that impression. Then COVID happened and everything changed. Since then, I haven't been getting any DMs from women in my actual target group anymore. Okay, interesting. Because, like, for a lot of guys, COVID seemed to have been the easy pickings time. Because, like, everybody was in the pandemic all locked in with nothing to do, and the girls were willing to just come directly to your house. Man, those were some good old days. So he says, my target audience is very attractive women. 7 to 10 range. I hope you're talking about the scale of 1 to 10 in terms of hotness and not age range. Oh no, here's what he says for age range. Between 20 and 29. Whew, good. Sure ain't helping anybody that's looking for anybody underage. But lately, I barely get any attention from the younger ones, and whenever I message them, they just didn't reply. Well, I can tell you here is like, with Gen Z, they are not very good at socializing in any way at all. And they're not very social people in general. Because when you take a look at just like how destroyed and damaged the world is, with like completely unaffordable housing, a job market that is awful. Like, there's so many fake job postings on Indeed and all the other job boards that you waste hours a day and probably months of your life applying to all these jobs, and they turn out none of them are actually real. There's just so much nihilism in Gen Z right now about everything having to do with life that I wouldn't take it personally if you're not getting any results with them. Really, like with Gen Z, if you're going to make any sort of progress with younger women like that, I think that the only way you're going to do that is by doing in-person, not necessarily cold approach, but more like social circle approach. I think that's where you would get the success with the younger women, because you see, there you can really show your charm. You can really show your value socially in that circumstance, as opposed to online. Kind of like the first thing they're wondering about you is, well, how old are you? And they also are kind of running everything into the perspective of, well, the Tinder swindler was this good looking and this charming. I got to be careful here. And a lot of times, like, they'll also think that, like, what they see that online that's good is just too good to be true, because it's a very cynical generation, and for good reason. They're really being handed over a subpar world. He continues, let's see, but lately I barely get any attention from the younger ones, and whenever I message them, they just didn't reply. Very common, and it's also a matter of, like, sometimes the people that you message, the girls that you message, like, a lot of times, like, their DMs, especially the younger ones, are going to be backed up with lots and lots of DMs from some unoriginal simps, some very annoying simps, and guys that they just don't want to talk to. A lot of times, like, they don't even see your DMs, because if they're not following you, they're just not going to see your message. And that's the important thing, is you always got to get her to follow you. Because if you get her to follow you, she'll see your messages. They'll go to the primary folder. He says, what confuses me the most is that I honestly thought I had everything women might look for: status, success, shape, lifestyle, amazing travels. Still, the reactions completely shifted. A lot of guys are in the exact same boat as you, where they've worked their butts off and have tried to put themselves into, like, the best situation possible. And still, like, the results they see, they're like, well, man, it just doesn't seem like it's good enough. I wish I knew, like, where you lived and everything, so I can kind of comment on maybe it's the area or the particular part of the world that you're in, because that can always be a determining factor. Like, yeah, here in America, it doesn't matter how great you are, you're fishing in the sewer. And, you know, also, like, the status and success and everything, it's really hard to showcase those even in Instagram, because that's something that's very easy to fake. So you can't necessarily think, well, I got the status and everything, and can't they see it? Like, yeah, they see it, but how do they know it's real? That's one thing you gotta worry about, or not necessarily worry about, one thing that you gotta be conscious of. And also, you don't want to try to show off status and success and all these things on your Instagram, like, too explicitly, because that may come across as try-hard. So, last September, I had the opposite issue. For about 3 months, I got daily messages or follows from women between the ages of 38 and 48. Then I removed a few photos with ChatGPT's help, and it stopped. But now, no one's reaching out at all. That's what made me read your book, to really understand what's going on. If you could help me fix my profile first, that would really mean a lot to me. Later, I'd love to maybe send you a few screenshots of chats where I get stuck, if that's okay for you. Appreciate your time. All right. So let's get into this here. So first thing I gotta say, I checked out your Instagram, and that's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Probably one of the best Instagrams I've ever seen. It's even better than my personal Instagram that I use with my real name and everything. So definitely one of the nicest I've ever seen. it's polished, it's confident. You look like somebody that got your life together. You clearly understand visuals, you understand tone, aesthetic, lighting, all that stuff. Everything looks good. Here's the thing, though. The problem isn't that your profile isn't good. The problem is that it's too good in one specific direction, and it just kind of gives off like this perfectionist impression. It gives off like this super polished and staged and contrived version of yourself here. It looks like something that they would do for an actor or somebody that was like trying too hard to look perfect is the thing. You see, perfection, it doesn't always convert into interest. It doesn't always convert into interest from women. So I want to say, like, your profile, it's got everything going very good. It's just a matter of, like, this looks way too stylized here, like some professionals came in and helped you out. You don't want that to be the appearance there, because, like, if it looks like professionals came in and helped you out, a couple things will happen. Like, for one, a lot of women are going to do what's called auto-rejection, where it really sucks. It's this thing that happens where if she perceives you as being out of her league, then in order to protect herself from getting hurt, she just automatically rejects you in the sense that, like, she disqualifies you or disqualifies herself from ever having anything with you. Because it's all just a protection mechanism they do to ensure that they don't have their feelings hurt really bad later on if they started falling for you and then found that their suspicions were right, that they weren't good enough for you. And there's, when I say all of this right here, don't take any of this as like, oh, it's hopeless now because I'm either too good or I'm not good enough. No, there's a good middle ground I'm going to help you find out. But what I'll tell you here is maybe there's some small surgical tweaks that you can implement that will take you from solid to, I think, magnetic. Really magnetic. Let's start with the pictures here. I mean, pictures are very good. Very good. Like, I can see that you're in shape. You take your grooming seriously. You take your style seriously. It's very good. It's very good here. A lot of guys, I wish, like, other guys I coach, that they would learn to put this much effort into their wardrobe, put this much effort into their appearance and everything, man, because, like, I mean, the fade that you have in your hair is very good. Wish a lot of guys that I coached would take it this seriously, but they don't. So, good on you for doing that. But we want to kind of change up a couple of things here. Like, since you're a good-looking guy, I'd say that you're probably going to have a lot of success on the dating apps. I normally don't say that, because dating apps are just for, like, the top 5% of guys, or it's all appearance-driven here. But I think, yeah, you'd have success on there. And what you could do is when you start up some profiles on the apps, you can funnel the leads that you get from the apps to your Instagram, where they can see more of what you can do here. Because, like, on the dating apps, you can only have, like, 5 pictures or so. So what you do is you put those up, put your 5 best pictures up, and then funnel them to your Instagram. Because, you see, on the apps, you can target the specific ages that you're looking for, and try to get those funneled to your Instagram. And the thing with that is that's also a great way to get them to follow you first. That's what you want. You want them to follow you. You just put, like, your Instagram handle on your dating profile, so that if they look you up, if they're really interested, they'll look you up and they'll follow you, and then it's okay for you to DM them. They'll see your message. So I'd spin up a couple of dating profiles, Hinge, Bumble, whatever you prefer. And instead of trying to close on the apps, you want to use them as a gateway. So drop your Instagram handle in the bio, make it subtle. And what that does is that filters out people who are already curious enough to check you out. And your Instagram becomes the closer of the deal. Yeah. There are some photos where it's just, most of the photos that you have on here are just you by yourself. There are some photos of you with other people. What I'd say is, like, man, the your pictures, they all look good and everything, but too many solo shots, they give off a isolated vibe. You don't want to show people, you don't want to show the women that you're isolated or give them that impression. You want to show that you're very social. You want to show that you have a very outgoing life. Because if there's too many pictures of just you by yourself, you start to look like a guy who's constantly performing for the camera instead of living your life. And someone just happened to capture it. That's the impression you want all your pictures to take, is to be more candid and natural. And you want some photos with friends, like photos where you and your friends are out having fun, or where you're laughing, or mid-conversation, mid-moment. Because that kind of social energy, what it shows is that you're connected, you're grounded, and you're fun to be around. And when people see you surrounded by others, that subtly communicates that you're in demand. My book, Never Ghosted Again, actually says there is one way to get women to approach you in public, random stranger women to get you to approach you, and that's you're out with your friends and you're having a good time. People will come to you. I've seen this happen. Like one time, me and my friends were just out playing volleyball, and because we were having such fun doing it, girls came up to us and said, "Hey, can we play?" So Instagram, you can replicate that by having a lot of pictures of you with your friends having a good time and make them look as candid as possible. Because, the thing about social media is that it really inspires a lot of FOMO on people. And that's what you want to inspire with your Instagram. You want to inspire some FOMO anxiety for these girls that look at it to think, oh, God, I got to get in on his life here because I'm totally missing out if I'm not a part of his life. Just look at how much fun all the other people in his life are having. When you got pictures with other women, here's the truth about that is that whenever you have a picture that shows you with another woman, you got to make it ambiguous. You don't want to make it obvious whether you're friends or whether you're in a relationship. The relationship has to look ambiguous between you and that woman. So whether it's dates, dance partners, whatever, you want to have implied preselection. You don't want to be provoking jealousy. You don't want to be coming off as try-hard. And you don't want to be disqualified. Because sometimes what they'll do is, if you're with a woman in the picture and she perceives that woman to be prettier than her, she'll automatically disqualify herself. Be like, oh, you know what, he's taken. I'm not good enough for him because look at this girl that he's with. And you don't want to be in a picture with a girl that she perceives as beneath her, because then she's going to think, oh, well, he settles, and I'm way better than that. And it seems like you can't win either way. Either it's too good or it's too bad. But here, the way you win is make it very ambiguous what the relationship is between you and the woman in the picture. That's the sweet spot, because it triggers curiosity and intrigue, a little bit of competition anxiety, but in a healthy way. Notice you got some reels up. That's great. Definitely make reels, because Instagram really pushes that out so that they can compete with TikTok. So you want to have some very good quality reels. And you got an eye for this stuff. A lot of your reels are great, like the one of you skiing. That's a good one. But don't ever make a reel and post it just to post. And you want to have more reels, absolutely, but don't make them just so you have stuff to post. You want to put intention behind them. You want them to really communicate something. I know the algorithm, they try to bully creators into consistency, but the brand that you're trying to create is a quality brand, not a quantity brand. So every reel needs to feel intentional. It should feel like it's a chapter in a bigger story of who you are, not filler. And the women who resonate with your brand are going to pay attention to everything that you put up as a reel, and they'll kind of pick up on all the subtleties of it and everything. All right. Now, if you really want to seal the deal, this is how I used Instagram for lots of success. This is how I tell all my guys to use it. Big one is, you got to showcase a talent. I don't mean lifting weights or gym videos, because as much as we guys think that's impressive, they don't do that much for women. And the same goes for sports. I see you got a lot of good sports stuff on there. That's great, but that just doesn't translate romantically. The girls, they respect the fitness, but that doesn't evoke emotion out of them. You want something that they're emotionally drawn to. Because you don't want to make the mistake that so many of my guys make here. Is like they say, well, let me get real ripped in the gym here and everything, so that way the girls will chase me because they find me so attractive. It's not really how it works with girls. See, that's how it works with you guys. That's how it would work with you and me. If we're looking at girls, we're very visually oriented, and the hotter she is, the more we want her. It's not always the case with girls, though. Like, what girls find attractive is much different, or what they find arousing, even. As you see, our eyes, as men, our eyes are instantly attracted without thinking to women's bare skin. But there's nothing analogous like that in a woman's mind. They do not have lustful eyes like we do, in the sense that when they see a man's bare skin, they're not immediately looking and can't look away. So even if you're a very good-looking guy and everything, and particularly if you're chiseled, ripped, and you look really good without your shirt on, that is great, but it's really not what's going to help you out the most here. It's not what's going to help you out the most here. What you want to do is capture attention with a talent that connects and communicates on an emotional level, or even a sensual level. And I see, like, there's some things you do here already that may help you do that. Like, what does work? What are the talents I'm talking about? I do talk about them a little bit in the book. But the main one is dancing. I mean, I can already see that you're a dancer, which is great. Some of the dancing that you do there, it's by yourself, and it's basic. Not trying to, like, insult you or anything, because, it's great that you got the confidence to do it. A lot of guys are way too chicken to get on the dance floor. So it's great that you got the confidence to do it. You got to be a little more refined with it. Let's elevate it a little bit. First, you want to make the reels of you dancing high-quality reels. These ones are okay to make them look polished and perfect. It's okay to do that for the dancing ones, but come off as like a professional dancer, that's great, because that's how I did it. You want to avoid that amateur TikTok cringe vibe. You don't want no vertical trends, or you want to think of something that's more intentional and artistic. And the best kind of dancing that you can do on there is partner dancing. So if you can do some dancing with a woman, like salsa, bachata, or merengue or cha-cha, you can do any of that. You have a woman in it with you, excellent. Because I know I said earlier, you want to make sure it's ambiguous between the relationship between you and any woman that's in it. But dancing has to have, you have to be touching each other. It has to be intimate. And I think that would actually make some healthy jealousy in the girls, some good inspired FOMO there. Partner dancing, the thing with it is that when a woman sees you dancing with someone, you're demonstrating a couple things. You're demonstrating preselection and comfort with physicality. You're demonstrating that women are comfortable being around you. They're comfortable being touched by you. They're not going, oh, God, you creep. Don't touch me. It shows you got rhythm, coordination, confidence. You're relaxed when you're connecting with a woman. Does it all in one frame. You're not telling her, you're not telling her, oh, yeah, I'm good with women, trust me. You're showing it without saying a word. In my book, Never Ghosted Again, I say, well, dancing is really the art of flirting without flirting. And the ideal reaction you want from her when she sees this reel is like, oh, man, I can imagine myself being on the dance floor with him. Because what you're trying to do here throughout all of Instagram's, what you're trying to do with your Instagram is you want to make her fall in love with you entirely in her head, imagining things with you before she even meets you in person. All right. If dancing is like not something you want to take to that level, That does ask you this. Here's music is the next great one. Can you play an instrument? Because that's another one that I did. Guitar, piano, ukulele. Those are great ones. I like the ukulele because it's a very simple stringed instrument, and it's small that you can carry it with you anywhere. And women love it. And it's not about showing off. It's just about artistic expression. They typically don't view guitar players or instrument music players as like snobs that are conceited and trying to show off or anything. They think of them as artists and people with deeper personalities, and someone who is a much more interesting person to get to know. So that's a little hack that you can have there. Like, when a guy's playing music, it really taps into that archetype, the man who feels, not the man who just flexes. So it shows depth, and there's an intelligence assumption that they make. They assume you're a more intelligent man when you're playing an instrument. And so if you can weave that into your reels, even if it's just short clips of you playing or performing, that is great for creating emotional hooks. Another one you could do is acro yoga. It's a bit of a sleeper hit, but it's another one that's kind of like dancing, where it shows you and a woman are getting very close together, and you're comfortable in that scenario, comfortable in that environment. Women are comfortable around you, and there's lots of acro yoga classes where they have your partner up and everything. Visually, women really like it. It requires trust. Photographs very well, and it shows balance, communication, and like the good fit shape that you're in, the good fitness that you have. What you're doing with like acro yoga and reels that demonstrate you can do it is it shows to her that your strength and your fitness is something that's useful to her, or something that appeals to her in a way outside of sex. All right, because it's something that, like, when she sees it, she'll feel it subconsciously. So you can absolutely pull that one off if you want to. And a fourth one that I also did that I know works very well, it kind of comes out of left field, is what's called shibari, or rope arts. It is bondage from like the BDSM world, but it's an artistic version of it. It's not, me tying her up to the bed and then whacking her with whips and everything. It's like I'm tying ropes on her body in like patterns, and you make like a dress for her out of rope as you're tying it on. The women really love it. They absolutely love it. I don't know why, but they're all into it, or they're at least like incredibly fascinated by it. Probably because like it's deeply aesthetic and it's sensual, it's artistic, and also it is something where you're paying so much attention to her, and you know how they love attention. And it doesn't have to be anything explicit. Like, it's very intimate, but it's not explicit. And what it shows is craftsmanship. You have patience and good connection and communication abilities. Make sure you know exactly what you're doing before you do it. Do not do any of that. Do not tie anyone until you are 100% sure you know exactly how to do the ties safely. What I did was, for months before I ever laid rope on someone, I practiced on a mannequin. So if you want to commit to that one, I see it as being nothing but rewarding. Every guy that I've ever told to pursue that art, they said they absolutely do not regret it, because women love it, and there are very few guys that know how to do it. And of the guys that know how to do it, there's an even fewer number of guys that know how to do it properly. So I see that as being very undercrowded or not crowded niche, and that'd be a good one to do. I had a lot of success with it, and that's something you can showcase on Instagram. You show pictures of ties that you did on a mannequin or ties that you did on other women. So if you can showcase a talent that evokes emotion, you'll immediately separate yourself from 99% of all the other guys online. All right, now highlights. I notice you got highlights. Good. Most guys don't have highlights, so kudos to you for doing that correctly. Your dancing highlight is great, but I think it could be more polished and intentional. Like I was talking about when you do dancing reels, you want to make them look more professional. And make it look like a professional portfolio as opposed to like just a casual dump bin. The fashion one. Now, honestly, I'd ditch it because it just comes off as like too curated, too try-hard, too much of like, hey, look at me, I know how to dress. I'd probably ditch the fashion highlights. The goal isn't to look like you're trying to impress. It's to look like you're already living the kind of life that others find impressive. The rest of your highlights are fine. I'd keep them as they are. Another angle you could go for is status signaling through exclusivity. And what I mean by that is, do you go to any places that are like members only or exclusive, or have that not everybody gets to get in here type of vibe? Yeah, some clubs that are members only. Even if you just a subtle hint, like geotagging a post that shows you're at one of these places, that can change how people perceive you in the lifestyle. And when you do this here, it's not that you're bragging, you're framing is what you're doing. And you're showing that you move in spaces that require social proof or success to access. And that adds more intrigue and makes you look more aspirational. All right. So final thoughts I got on this here is Instagram itself doesn't make anyone attractive, doesn't make anyone interesting. It only amplifies what's already there. Instagram is not going to make you interesting or desirable. You have to already be interesting and desirable and then use Instagram to showcase that. And I think you got all the potential and everything that you need. You just got to know how to showcase that on Instagram here. So your job isn't to use it to create the desirability, but to reflect it. You already have the fundamentals. You got the looks, you got the style, you got the polish. You just need to add in a layer of like warmth, connection, and emotion. Like when you're taking a picture that you're going to post, just kind of ask yourself, well, what emotion does this picture evoke? What emotion will it spark and trigger in a woman that sees it? Because like the moment you start showing that you're not just successful, but you're showing that you're also alive and you have real social energy, you got artistic hobbies that she's actually interested in, you have a grounded lifestyle, well then the entire vibe changes. So your profile, it will go from being just impressive to being irresistible. And if you just keep doing like you're doing, with a little more storytelling, a little more humanity, and a bit more playfulness, I think that you'll be getting much better results than you're getting right now. So let me know how it works out here for you, and see what you can throw into the mix. You got a great foundation. These tweaks, I think, are just going to elevate your profile to a level that most guys never get to. So I appreciate you trusting me with this, and I'll be excited to see the results once you start applying the changes to them. Adios.